Hello, I'm Caitlin Ellis, the Sacktown Insider Rogue Edition Corona Chronicles, and today I have a very special guest. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Fine indeed. I'm very happy to be here. Anything to push the brand.
Can you please tell our audience your name and a little bit about you?
My name is Geoffrey Giuliano, but I think the audience is going to know me more as VIP4 from Squid Game, the really, really bad guy. I'm an actor. I've been an actor since I was a little kid. I think my first play was when I was 12, and I've been a professional actor ever since. And although I've made 28 movies, and Hollywood knows very much who I am and hired me continually, I didn't have any public acclaim until Squid Game. So now the public knows who I am.
And can you please tell our audience actually what inspired you to get into acting?
I don't know. Probably I wanted attention when I was a little kid, and I had some kind of a flair for comedy and making people laugh. And it's a very similar story with any performer. Perhaps I didn't, if you really want to dive deep, I didn't have the kind of approbation I thought I should have or needed at home. And so I sought it out by getting the attention of people by acting out, literally. So yeah, there's a lot of psychological reasons why people want strangers to love them. It's like Austin Powers said, "Daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair. I guess he didn't care." So that there could be some things like that. But I love. My mother used to say, you love the sound of your own voice, and you love to show off. So maybe this is just a very sophisticated way of showing off in front of the world, especially taking your clothes off, as I did in Squid Game.
And actually, anybody looking to get into the acting industry, what advice would you give?
Well, first of all, I'd say do not do it if you want a secure financial future. If you want to have good relationships with family and friends, just forget it. Now, if after me telling you that, you go, no, I can't forget it. It's in my blood. It's what I am. It's like men who feel that they're women. They just know I'm a woman. I don't care what my body is. I don't care what I got to go through. I'm going to be this. If you have that kind of passion, then you must stick at it, and the opportunity and your preparedness will meet an opportunity, and you will have some level of success. It's not like you're going to never get hired. You'll get hired. But, Morgan Freeman didn't have a proper acting job until he was in his 50s. I had no public acclaim, although I made 28 movies, until I was 68, 60, 66, 60, 67. So no one in the public knew who I was until I was 67 years old. So if that isn't a testament to don't quit, I don't know what is. In fact, about a month before Squid Game came out, I went in to tuck my son in bed. His foot was hanging over the thing. I picked his foot up. He's 14. And I put it in and put the cover over him. And there was a moonbeam coming in the window. And the moonbeam kind of landed on my face. And I looked at that moonbeam and I said, well, Jeff, you did everything people told you to do. You got a master's degree in acting. You did Shakespeare in the Park. You worked at a TV station in Toronto for 5 years for nothing. You did community theater. You did dinner theater. You did everything. Shakespeare. You did everything that you were told by people that knew more than you how to be an actor, how to be some kind of successful, well-known actor. But hey, buddy, it just didn't happen for you. You're 68. Didn't happen, man. Nice, great effort, but it just didn't happen. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I was world famous. And that's where I sit now.
That's great. And actually, what we're talking about today is your VIP4 in Squid Game. Can you please tell our audience, how did you become involved in all of that?
Well, about 3 years ago now, I saw an ad on an actor's message board for some movie they were doing in Korea. Now, I almost always play the bad guy. So I wanted a mafia guy. I'm Sicilian, so I sent them a little tape, and then I had somebody call me from Korea. I didn't know it was Korea. And they said, hey, would you like to come and make a Netflix movie? And it turned out to be a very popular zombie movie called Peninsula Train to Busan, which you can see right now on Netflix. It's there now. And I went over to Korea and I did it. And I'm really, really proud of it. I had a little bit of a hard time in my mind making it, but when I saw the finished thing, and that's another thing too, you can screw up as much as you want because they do so many takes, they can cut it all together. But I thought I had a bit of I struggled a little bit with it, but I did get it. And I'm very proud of it. You can see it now, Peninsula Train to Busan. I play the big mafia boss in there. And when the director was looking for, okay, let me explain to you about the part I have. I saw a Netflix contract, which I don't have a copy of at the moment. I'll get one. And it said it had 14 names in a box, and the cast name, the character name, and then the actor name. And those were that said there are 14 stars of Squid Game. The public doesn't know this. And the 14th name was mine. I am a star, according to Netflix contract, which is everything. I'm one of the stars of Squid Game, but I'm the 14th. I'm number 14 of 14. That's fine with me because I'm a star of one of the biggest television series in the history of the world. So I'm very happy with that. And it was enough to make me famous. Anyway, so the director couldn't find anyone in Korea that he wanted. Then he looked around in Kuala Lumpur and Asia, different places, Thailand. But then one night he was watching Netflix and he saw me in Peninsula. And then I got another call from that same agent who were like, okay, but not great. When I was there, I'm a vegetarian and they couldn't figure out the food. What do I eat? They thought I would eat a croissant from 7-Eleven 3 times a day with some yogurt. They had no idea what vegetarianism is not really a thing in Korea, the big meat eaters. So they called, would you like to come and do this movie? And I said, yeah. But at that point, for some reason, I said quite a big number of money, like a high number, 6 figures. And they said, that's not going to happen. I said, okay. I've been doing this so long that I don't have an emotional investment in getting a part or not getting a part. I just said, okay, great. Bye. Thank you. Thanks for thinking of me. See you later. 2 weeks later, the phone rang. They said, well, look, come on. That's real. I said, well, look, all right, I can do blah, blah, blah. And I came down a little bit. And they still said, well, we'll talk to them. And they called back and they said, like, they're not going to go for that. That's not happening. And I had sent in a casting tape, which you can see on my YouTube channel, Geoffrey Giuliano channel. You can see that casting tape. So what did I do? Several calls more happened, and eventually I got near the money that I wanted, which was more money than I ever made in a movie. So I thought, okay, this is cool. And then they told me I played a gay godfather. And I thought, okay, that's good, because usually it's just a godfather. This time it's a gay godfather. So I like that because I'm a character actor. I play all parts far different from myself. So yeah, so then I went over there, and then the hotel suite was like really, really nice. And I thought, well, what? Wow, they gave me all this money, and the hotel's like much nicer than it is ever normally. And then they took me to the set, and the set was this incredible $1 million, and oh my God, So I knew, okay, this is a big production. This is why they gave me all that money. And now it's not the money, by the way. I know you don't want to talk about money, but actors think about these things. This is a job. It's called show business, not show art. There's a big business component. The other guys got like between $500,000 and $2 million. And I got nothing near that, So anyway, so not to go into that too much. There's an old saying, I'll tell anyone who wants to be an actor, I'll give you the best advice I can ever give anybody, because it was the best advice given to me. It's a joke. How do you make an actor complain? Give him a job. So you never complain. If you are lucky enough to be in a movie, to be a big shot in a movie and everybody, you're famous, don't complain about the dressing room or the lunch or anything. Shut up. You're in a movie, dude. A lot of people want to be in movies. All right. So anyway, that's how I got the part. I went over there and I did the part.
What would you say is your favorite memory of making Squid Game and acting in it?
Well, I don't know if it's my favorite. Okay, my favorite acting moment was
Most
when,
memorable. How about that?
well, no, I'll tell you, I got two answers for this. But the best acting in it was when I said, I don't want to keep calling you over here. Sit down. He said, I can't. I said, I'm going to have this young man sit down. Is there any objection? No objection. Okay. Take off the mask. I can't take off the mask if they'll kill me. If you don't take off the mask, I'll kill you before I leave. That was the best acting. Now, I'm going to tell you something about that. What popped in my head when I was doing that scene, which I did pretty much almost verbatim for you. I can't believe I remembered it all. I thought of Jack Nicholson. So it doesn't, you won't see that I was thinking of Jack Nicholson, not imitating, thinking. So if it was Jack Nicholson, it would have been more like, if you don't take off the mask, I'll kill you before I leave. And that would be more of an overt, but there was just a little touch, which now if you watch it again, you might see there's a little touch of Jack Nicholson. It just came into my head. Like, I'll tell you what, if you don't take off that mask, I'll kill you. But I didn't do it like that. It was like, if you don't take off that mask, I'll kill you before I leave. But that's what I was thinking. My internal thing was Jack Nicholson. So that's the best acting bit. I overacted a little. Now, this is stuff you should, this is like a diving deep for actors workshop. I overacted a little bit in the sex scene. I thought that I should get sexually excited, and I was going, you can hear it. It was too much. It was a good idea, but here's the problem with non-English speaking directors, to be honest with you. If there was an English speaking director, hey, Geoffrey, that's good, that little sexual excitement, but it's a little bit too much. Bring it down. Now, if you go rewatch the scene, you'll hear me going, when I'm trying to grab his head or whatever to pull his head towards me, it's too much, too much. It's a good idea, just bring it down. So I didn't have that. I didn't have that extra pair of eyes on me. I just had to wing it because there was no English speaking people there, and I could have brought that down. So that was the most memorable, was an oral sex scene naked when I'm 68 on Netflix. Of course, that's the most memorable, but not in a good way. The most memorable acting was when I did the, I'll kill you if you don't take off your mask, this kind of thing, the Jack Nicholson bit. And let me tell you that I didn't know I had to do a nude scene until I got there, because I didn't read the script. I just learned the lines for the audition. And when I got there, the lady came to the production assistant came to my suite. All right, Mr. Giuliano, big day tomorrow. I said, yes, sir. Are you ready? I'm ready to go. Okay. And we're going to have a towel there for when you take off your clothes. Excuse me? You know, when you take off and show your genitalia and your complete nude body at 68 that hasn't looked good in 35 years, you know, that thing. No, I don't know. What the hell are you talking about? Mr. Giuliano, you have a nude scene tomorrow. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Do you have a copy of the script, sir? Well, yeah, it's right here. Let's take a look at the script. He takes off his clothes, revealing his disgusting body, and it used the word disgusting. So what do you mean disgusting body? Well, I mean, I know it's true, but, you know, we don't have to put it in print. Mr. Giuliano, I said, look, okay, here's the deal. I can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? It's a huge part of the script that you've got. Look, I'm not going to take Mr. Giuliano, do you want this money or not? We can fly in. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'll do it. So that's all they had to say was, do you want the money or not? Because they hadn't paid me yet. You know, there's still time. Well, there wasn't time, but there's still time to fly somebody in. That's complete nonsense. But, you know, when they said, very calmly, the girl said, Mr. Giuliano, do you want the money or not? I'll do it. So then it was, but I'm not going to show my penis, which they wanted me to do. I'm not showing my penis. I'm not doing full frontal nudity. So I said, we need to negotiate that. I said, now listen to this. I said, I need to wear a robe. He's very rich. I need a very expensive robe. So me saying that is the reason that all the VIPs have those robes on. They ran out and made these robes. The very robe that I'm wearing now, fans, Squid Game fans, I'm the only one who has any of my costuming. I bought this from the production for $1,000. So, and I'll be wearing it when I come and see you in Comic-Con.
You've had a very interesting background, and it sounds like you've had a lot of fun doing Squid Game and everything else. But can you please tell us next, at the beginning of COVID-19 as well as now, how have you been affected? I know with acting and everything else, some things have changed.
Well, you don't know my India story? Okay, so in March of 2020, okay, I'm involved with an Indian religious faith. I have been since I was 14. I'm 68. I meditate. I'm a vegetarian, and so forth. See, I even have my spiritual masters right here on my desk. Srila Prabhupada. I have my spiritual master right here, always next to me. So I have my guru. So I have 6 children, and I've never, ever forced any of my children to be vegetarians or have any religious faith that I have. I want them to find or not find. It's their life, you know. But so my son's a little interested in my spiritual meditation. So I said, well, let's tell you what, you got 2 weeks off school. It was this time of year, 2 years ago. Let's go to India. I'll take you to India and we'll just kind of hang out for a couple of weeks. So I took $2,000, none of my credit cards, because we're going to be in a rural area where they don't really take them. So I took $2,000 for 2 weeks, $1,000 a week. That's fine. And then they shut the airports down, and they were shut down for 6 months. And long story short, they airlifted myself and my son back to Thailand on a humanitarian flight. We had the same clothes basically for 6 months. We had to eat with beggars. Sometimes we slept in doorways. We were completely destitute. Nobody would help us. And when my son came in that door over there, he had the jeans on he'd been wearing for 6 months. I said, take those jeans off. And when he took them off, they disintegrated. They were just disintegrated. I mean, not completely like sugar, but they just fell into pieces. He had to like take them off and rip them off in long pieces. So we really went, so yeah, COVID affected me. I was stuck in India with no money for 6 months. Eventually it got into the media, and we started getting some donations from PayPal, which was actually $5,000 that, you know, people who fans, I guess, or just people that were worried about my son. We got $5,000 and that got us through. But before that happened, before the media picked it up, that, you know, and what was it? Sort of my next most famous movie is Scorpion King. So Scorpion King, actor stranded in India, living like a beggar. And then people started sending money in, and we got a hotel, and then we were able to come back. So yeah, it has affected me very much. Oh, and I don't have any movies. There's no movies, there's no work because of COVID. And when I got there, I had to do to Seoul, I had to do 2 weeks quarantine when I got there, and 2 weeks when I got back to Bangkok. And when I got to the room, there was a big letter from Netflix that said, "Dear Mr. Giuliano, this Squid Game could shut down because of COVID. We don't want you sick or the film to shut down. Please stay there's another 3 weeks while we shoot. Please stay in your room. Don't go anywhere." So I was basically in prison. Squid Game, COVID-19 put me in a hotel prison for 2 weeks in Seoul, 5 weeks in Seoul, and 2 weeks when I returned. So that's 7 weeks I was in prison because of COVID. And I want to tell everybody that, you know, I'm the only English speaking cast star of Squid Game, and no one's offered me a movie yet. I think that's very strange, you know. Well, come on, Hollywood, you know, give me a movie. I've had Comic-Con tours, which I've put together, and it's going to start in England and go all over the world in Comic-Con, but I haven't had a movie, so please offer me a movie.
And in lieu of COVID-19, with everything else you have going on, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience that you might be working on in the future or now?
Well, yeah. I have an audio book. I've written a book about Squid Game, and it's for sale. It's called, here's the name, this is the name that you have to type in to Google. Surviving Squid Game. I am VIP for Geoffrey Giuliano. Kobo sells it. Kobo. I know. Audiobooks.com. Everybody has it. So it's a book that I wrote immediately as soon as I got home, and then I have a recording studio behind that door, and I recorded it as an audiobook. It's not available in print right now, but I'm doing a book called Squid Game Confidential, where I'll tell everything about Squid Game, a lot of what I told you, and I'll talk about season 2, which I know some secrets about season 2, and all that. So I've done an audiobook's out now to buy for Christmas, and then I have, in about a year, I have a big coffee table book coming called Squid Game Confidential. Let's see, I'm starting a new podcast, which will be similar to Joe Rogan, but I'm a left-wing socialist, progressive. So he's right-wing, he's a hunter and eats meat. So I'm none of that with me. But if you think of the Joe Rogan show, it'll kind of look like that. So it's called Geoffrey Giuliano's Dog Fight. And so we'll have this podcast that's going to be coming up. And I'm waiting to get a movie, and I'm expecting the phone to ring. I got a new agent. I have an agent for Comic Cons. I have an agent for, I have a manager for, I have an agent for Comic Cons. I have a personal manager now, and I have an agent for movies, but so far no movies, which is disappointing because I'm an actor and I like to act. And if I'm not acting, I'm not as happy,
Well, you've done a lot, and I wish you luck with the Comic-Con and everything else you're working on. At this time, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, have a great holiday. Christian, happy Christmas. Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Whatever your religious faith is, this is a time when family's more important than ever. It's a dangerous time. It's a time where you have to think. You can't just fly by the seat of your pants. You need to pay attention to what you're doing. You need to get vaccinated for COVID-19. You need to practice social distancing. I know it's a drag. You need to wear the mask. And we need to get in front of this thing before it's killed 800,000 people, guys. And we don't want it to kill anyone in your family, anyone you love. It's a horrible way to die. You suffocate. Sorry to be so cheerful at Christmas, but we have this challenge. We have to meet this challenge together. The vaccination is perfectly safe and fine. They're not going to put a microchip in you. It's not going to turn you into a zombie. It's safe. It's free. Get vaccinated. Have a great holiday. Think about maybe the possibility of understanding the idea that if you don't have to kill something to have dinner, maybe don't. So I would say if you're young or old, well, however old you are, if you're thinking about your life and alternatives and how to make it more positive, you might want to look at vegetarianism. You might want to look at animal rights. You might want to look at expanding your circle of compassion to embrace all life. It's not like, you wouldn't eat your daughter or your cousin, but you'd eat this cow or this fish or this pig or this chicken. Well, it's all life. Everything's alive. Everything wants to live and not be bothered and not be eaten. So I would say, let's try to get in front of COVID. Let's try to end factory farming. Let's try to look at more nonviolent alternatives in life and have that beautiful kind of inclusive future that we all can have if we work together a little bit more and think about, I know America's the home of the rugged individualist. I'm one of them. But if we could kind of think more of the whole tribe of us as one people, I think we would do better. That's what I would want to say.
Beautiful message, and thank you for that. But before we end, can you please tell our audience if they would like to follow more of your journey, where can they find you?
You can go to geoffreygiuliano.com, and there's a contact page there. And there you can get my phone number, all my email addresses. The phone number is for my office, not my personal phone number. And you can find my Instagram, my Instagram is Geoffrey Actor, GELFFREYACTOR. You can go to my TikTok, which I don't use very much. I'm not big at dancing around in my bedroom, I don't know, call me crazy, And if you want to see all my movie clips, go to geoffreygiuliano.com and click cinema. You can see them all. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but the best place where I do hang out every day on Facebook, it's always up on my screen, is VIP4s, 4 with an S, VIP4's Squid Game Universe. You can catch me there and we hang out. We have contests and all kinds of stuff. And I'll be coming to a Comic-Con near you in 2022.
And I want to thank you for joining us again. It's been great meeting you and seeing
Thank you.
all you're up to. I hope you have a great rest of your 2021 and a successful 2022. I'm
Well,
Caitlin Ellis with the Sacktown Insider Rogue Edition Corona Chronicles.